welcome back to my channel. So it has been 2 weeks since the last video that I filmed, and we are finally in the 6-month mark, which means we have exactly 6 months left before 2024. That's mind-blowing how these months are just blowing past us. And like myself, I know that half of you, if not all of you, are already thinking about stuff that you're going to be using for the following year. Every year I do this to myself. I start thinking about stuff that I want. The new stuff starts coming out around this time, and it's always a fail. So hopefully I can hold on and just stick it out and see what I vibe with. I keep telling myself, like, I'm just going to use what I have. I'm just going to use what I have. So we'll see. Nonetheless, you guys know I've been using the Plum Planner since the start of February. I started the year with 2 completely different systems and quickly realized that these are just not it for me. And so I jumped into the Plum Planner again after abandoning it for such a long time. So I wanted to share like the journey that I've taken so far this year from the start of February until now. There are going to be days that look blank due to the fact that I just didn't use the Plum Planner at all, but relatively consistent. So yeah, I just wanted to pop on and just talk about like the overall journey from then to now and what's to follow in the coming. So I'm going to jump to February, as that is the start of this year for this planner. I showed a brief flip of like the past year because I did use this planner for 8 months last year, somewhat almost 8 months. And so it's been a journey. I'll say that it's been a journey. So yeah, this is February. So start of February. My consistency with this planner is that this system that I really like is that it keeps me focused. I feel like it's very focus based, and I feel like I get a lot of stuff done when I'm using the Plum Planner. And for me, I really utilize these dashboards because they set the tone for all the things that I want to get done for the month, because it's a blank canvas essentially. And so what I can do is I can come in and I can break down and really map out how my month should look and what to expect for the month. The notes section I really didn't use most of the time. I have used it a little bit. I've used it in conjunctions with maybe gratitude, maybe reflections or things like that, but it really is not something that I necessarily have a set basis for. I just really don't use the notes section in the front as much. Monthly, hit or miss. Sometimes I like my monthlies a lot for the Plum Planner, and other times I'm just like, oh, I don't really care for the monthly. I really wish that the sidebar was gone, because in the Plum Planner, it's a sidebar with lines, and I just really don't care for it at all because, I mean, look at it. It's just, it's just pointless to me. There's not a whole lot of space. You can jot like some task, and I can understand like using it for tasks, and I have done that, but I really wish that all of it was just a monthly income in total. So like my February, this was kind of like me reintroducing the Plum Planner to myself. I had used it very differently last year, and this year when I decided to go back to the Plum Planner, I really didn't know which direction I wanted to take. I knew I wanted to be a functional, just straight to the point kind of a system, and I really tried to push that a lot. I quickly realized that my Ohuhu dot markers bled through this paper, which was very disappointing because I liked using them for check boxes, and also just to fill in my trackers and stuff. But yeah, I had my go with, like the things. This is really me testing out the system and the paper for what it truly was, because the first time I planned in the Plum Planner, I really didn't use different things. I had a set of cheap markers that didn't really bleed through anything, and yeah, I mean, I decorated a lot. And so yeah, this time I really just used it for total function, rarely no decoration. I glued in a household chores tracker, which I kind of fell off because I realized that although having a tracker for household chores works, and it works wonders for me, I also realized in the same essence that I didn't really like it in the Plum Planner because I had so many different sections that this would have been another section for me to keep track of, in which I didn't care for. So it kind of fell to the wayside. And I do have budgeting tracking sheets in here too, which keep track of like finances and things like that. And so yeah, all of these numbers are irrelevant now, but yeah, I'd use them briefly in here. I haven't used them for a while, actually. I've been using different things, but yeah, so those were the weeklies for February, and then this is the dailies. So same thing, I decorated my dashboard. I broke down some of the daily goals that I wanted to do, some more different things that I could have mapped out further or elaborated further on that maybe I didn't have enough space in my weekly section. I elaborated here, and then this is what I was talking about. Like, I use this note section very differently each time. This one was actually a reflections page this time around, and again, the monthly looks exactly the same. And then for the daily pages, I basically just did or stuck to what I usually have done across all of my daily pages for the Plum Planner, which is basically keeping a to-do list, top 3 things that I wanted to do, a general schedule for the day, like what I need to hit in this targeted hour, a couple of notes, and this box changed so much. It was gratitude, it was meals, and at some point I think it was a quote of the day. I'm not really sure, but it changed a few times, and then I just came to the realization that I like it for keeping up with what we're gonna eat for dinner, because it's highlighted and it's right there in your face. So that worked out for me. And then this bottom section, I never really truly understood what to do with it, because I pretty much had all my other sections of this page laid out. So I made this dedicated to extras. So it could be extra to do, it could be an extra grocery list, it could be anything, extra notes, whatever. So basically that was the tone set for my daily pages, and as I flip through, you can see that on the weekends I really didn't have a schedule. I did not. My husband was home on the weekends, and so my schedule on the weekends are different from the weekdays. So I get up with my son relatively early in the morning, and we have a routine that we follow. And so really when I'm by myself, I kind of keep myself like on my own schedule. Like, okay, I want to get my son breakfast by this time, and I want to do this by this time. But on the weekends, it's kind of like touch and go. Everybody's here, and yeah. So those were my daily pages, and occasionally, not all the time, but occasionally I would have super big changes in my day. Like something could be off skew with this, and so I incorporated an extra sheet of paper to kind of like elaborate on a to-do list or change a schedule around so that I was not following this anymore but following the new schedule. So I often did that versus just whiting out things, and then I elaborate on notes here to buy. It helps so much to insert an extra page. At some time in my life, I've tried out a day on 2 pages and I've considered a day on 2 pages. However, I don't think that it is super beneficial in my life because 1 minute I'm busy and I feel like our life has a lot of things going on, and then the second things calm down, there's really no need for a day on 2 pages, hence why my planning system changed from January to February. So yeah, this was my planning in the daily pages for February, and as you can see, it is basically just pen to paper, and I use a ballpoint pen. I use a Bic, very simple. It doesn't have a whole lot of recognition, but it's a very simple ink pen, and I just use that for basically all of my planning across all of my planners, really, because it's something I can rely on. It's cheap, it's efficient, and yeah, I don't have to fuss with smearing of the ink. I did incorporate a couple of stickers. The monotonous of looking at these spreads can get to you, and if you don't break them up, then you can definitely feel like the days are just running together. So I feel like you have to like break it up a little bit, do something different. My birthday is also in February. It is on the 23rd, hence, like, oh, happy day stickers. But yes, my birthday is on the 23rd of February. And so this year I turned 31. And to be honest, I was very depressed turning 31. I don't know, something about just getting older, and then I don't feel, obviously, I'm still very young. I don't feel super young anymore. Like, I have sciatic pain. I have carpal tunnel in my hands. I have a couple of things going on with me. I just don't feel like the young 18-year-old that I used to be, in which it makes perfect sense. But it was very depressing to turn 31 this year. And now I'm thinking about it, I'll be turning 32 very soon. 7 months. Wow, that's not that far off. But yeah, this was my planning for the bulk of that month. So let's jump into March. March, same thing. Like I said, this gets changed quite a bit. It was gratitude, it was reflections, it was notes. Now it's an inbox. And again, my dashboards are basically the only things that pretty much stay the same. They basically have a base for how I want to set them up and how I want them to look, and I just kind of do the same thing every month. It might change a little bit, but for the majority of it, it looks the same. So that helps. The months relatively stay the same. Also, I don't really do anything different with the months. They basically are just pillars to capture a bulk of information in one place. So March was the month where I took it upon myself to go to Hobby Lobby, and I was looking at some of the Happy Planner stuff. A lot of you have talked about the Happy Planner being cheaper than the Plum Planner and how some of you like it. And me personally, after I used a Happy Planner, I think it was the classic size, after I used it, I do like the Happy Planner paper. What I don't really care for with the Happy Planner is all the decorations, and I understand that they have a minimalist planner, I want to say, but they don't have a variety of, like, in the minimalist. Like, I feel like it's very select, and I like some of the downfall is I feel like the Happy Planner has a bunch of useful, very, very useful things that make a lot of sense to have in your planner that the Plum Planner just does not have, like, at all. So I feel like incorporating some of the Happy Planner stuff won't be so overwhelming with all the decorations that they have on their pages, but it also gives me a splash of something different within the Plum Planner itself. So this particular month, I started using the Happy Planner Mini. I don't know if these are just regular note pages, But I started using them as like a dashboard, because what I've realized is that I really, really like the dashboard layout a lot. I feel like it is a beneficial layout. I know that the Happy Planner has that. The Plum Planner does not. That's the downside to it. But it is a beneficial layout. And so I have my full week for the Plum Planner. And then by inserting this mini Happy Planner sheet, I could have a like a Dutch door type of thing, insert it into here where it can break down like a visual of like our weekly meals, despite the fact that I have a meal planner within my Plum Planner. But here I can, instead of flipping to that, I can see just very quickly what meals we're having. I have a don't forget section. This particular note page was broken down into like 4 boxes where there's 4 things you can break down that you may not want to forget, or things that you may do. And then the back of it has a regular just note page. And so I really took advantage of this by doing weekly notes, and it was messy and it was very helpful to do. So I started doing that and quickly realized like, yes, this is it. This is working. This is what I need. And so I stuck with that. And so I believe that the Happy Planner is doable if I'm using it in conjunction with something else. And that's just where I'm at with that. So yeah, March, same thing. Every single week, I just had one sheet for the week that would be like my dashboard. And then I would do my weekly planning. This weekly, however, changed, I want to say a few times, not many, but it did change. Like at first I was doing priorities, and then I started doing some learning activities with my son during this month. So we would have like our priorities for the day, and then a couple of things that I was going to work on with my son every day. And then I would have a general to-do list. This wasn't like my daily to-do list, but this was like stuff that needed to be done throughout the week. Every day was different. And yeah, so yeah, those are March weeklies. And I didn't do the last week of March. I'm not sure if I jumped out of this or not, or if I did April instead, because the Plum Planner has this weird, like, it's very weird. They give you 2 spreads exactly the same for each month. So this goes into April. So you have the end of March leading into April, and then you have April, the end of March, and then April is highlighted. So it doesn't make sense to do 2 of the same. And then I didn't use the budget sheets at all for March. And actually what I'll do with unused like inserts like this, like the budget sheet, is I'll collect them, and I know that I can always go back and just pull them should I need them. And then this was March's dailies. See here, I used it for gratitude. It changes every month. And then the monthlies, again, still the same. And then these are the dailies. So I started using just a couple of stickers. Not a whole lot, but little icon stickers. I've gotten this response too. A lot of people don't like the disc because the pages tend to come out. I've only had that problem with the Happy Planner disc. Using the Plum Planner inserts with the punch, I haven't had it on the Jane's Agenda disc, and I probably won't have it on Tool disc, but I just feel like the Happy Planner punch is a little different. The discs are made a little different because it's made for their particular planners and stuff, so it doesn't really work well on like the Plum Planner punched or disc punched inserts at all. They come out relatively easily. So anyway, like I was saying, this is March's dailies, and yeah, I'm just gonna bypass all of these because they really are just pen to paper. And I wanted to share this this is the 6-month mark, we're we're in July, so 6 months left to go for 2023. And I wanted to share this so that those of you who are considering like a planning system right now for the next year, I wanted to at least show you like how I've used my Plum Planner very functionally, and how you can do the same thing too, minus all of the decorations, and it can be very beneficial to you as well. So, because I think that a lot of times we get into the assumption that in order to like use a happy planner, we have to have like all the happy planner stickers, and we have to have the elaborated spreads, and we don't always have to have that. I mean, I really enjoy just using the Plum Planner with just pen and marker or a highlighter. It really worked for me. And then just using like minimal stickers for some things. I really didn't even remember that I put this sticker here. So yeah, I mean, that's how I used it. And then I watch Amanda Chavis on YouTube. Right now, I feel like she's in a planner rut because I think she is tired of disc. And I completely understand that, because sometimes I get a little tired of the disc system too. But a lot of the ideas, like inserting Happy Planner mini sheets inside of like this size, I got from her, and so very useful and very convenient. And she has a lot of good planner hacks. And I just like the way that she plans, because we plan very similar. So yeah, and then these are Day Designer 8.5 by 11 sheets. And so what I was doing with these sheets is that, okay, so I tried a cleaning tracker in the Discbound system, but quickly realized that I didn't like that because it felt like another section that I had to turn to. So what I did is I started printing out like a cleaning schedule, and then I would just write everything that I had to do for the month, or yeah, I think this one is for the month. So for the month, and then it has 5 weeks on here. So whenever I would do it for that week, I would just check it off. And this is something that I could put on my refrigerator. This is something that I can tuck in between like my current daily page. And yeah, just something that I can follow through with without having to try to turn to another area or try to glue down this tracker, because I didn't have trackers in here. So yeah, that was just something else that just made life a lot simpler. And then what I did with all of like the monthly stickers is I just kind of stuck them in these pockets. And then yeah, basically that's what I did. So those were February and March's daily pages. I'm gonna say, okay, I was like, I got so many covers on here, I can't tell you which one is which. So those were February and March's dailies, and now I'm going to just I'm going to just run straight through April, May, and June, because you're going to see a pattern is that it's basically the same. So again, I took stickers that I didn't bother to use in here. I also tuck the month cards. I know you don't have to keep them, but I like keeping them because I like to archive them with the months. At some point, I'm going to go through it and reorganize it and everything like that. But so in here, you'll see I have the meal planning sheets. I have extra stuff in here, but I have the meal planning sheets. So this is what for those of you who are always interested in wanting to know what my meal planning looks like, I'll zoom in just a little bit if space will allow, because I don't want to be out of frame. I realized that my meal planning is just very simple. It's very straightforward. I have my set meals that I'm going to cook for each day. I typically cook 3 times a week, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or it might be another day in between. Fridays is usually a pizza Friday, and then I break down like a grocery list of things we need, anything like food ideas, things that we haven't ate, things I want to try. I kind of map them out here, like what I might need for it, what I could make, and all of that stuff. So that is what I do with a blank sheet of paper. I also make a lot of changes in meals because I'm primarily the only cook. So I basically just, instead of whiting out, I cross out and draw arrows and crazy stuff. And when it looks like this, I start rewriting like our actual meal plan for the week, because at this point it looks too chaotic and I can't really follow it anymore. And yeah, I just basically do that for my meals. Now, recently our meals have been very similar, or not similar, very basic, and just a lot of takeout. So I haven't had the crazy meal planning like I've been having in the past months and weeks. So it's very just minimal. But when everything follows through, it can look very, simple like this. And what I do is I just write like the month and the days in which they are. So this was April 24th through the 30th. So that was this week. And then May 1st through the 7th, that was this week. And anything I don't cook at all, or I just completely say no to, I just crossed out in a red marker. So here's April. Again, didn't do anything with this. Dashboard looks exactly the same as all the others that I showed you. I did decorate my monthly or my weekly. So the weekly did change for April. I started, so I was still doing like a section for like my son's learning and like my priorities for the day, and then my general to-do list. Still included my tracking. And then that's when I kind of changed it to here. I started doing the weather, and then I started doing different stuff like different priorities. I stopped tracking like things that we were doing with my son, and this is when all of the appointments started to come together. So I really didn't have to write in the things that we were learning anymore, because now he had all of these appointments in place in which he was going to get the same treatment that I was trying to incorporate at home. Still working with him at home, but now we had assistance. So I didn't have to plan it out anymore. And then, I was using appointment stickers a lot. So his appointments weren't necessarily crazy yet, but they were getting there. But I did track the weather, and I had weekly trackers and weekly priorities. And as you can see, my weeklies kind of slow down a little bit, and they look more written in and more functional than just stickered up. Didn't use the budget sheets, so I kind of tucked those two together with extra note paper. And then this was April dailies. Didn't bother decorating it. Didn't feel a need to. I just wanted to use it as function. Weekends, like I said, I did not have a schedule. And then again, I just use highlighter. This is when I started using highlighter to basically draw attention to tasks that I was not completing and that I kept writing. So I wanted to put more attention on those tasks so that I could get them done and stop putting them off. Because one thing, if you have not learned anything from watching my videos, is I'm a huge procrastinator. Despite all of the things that I'm writing, all of the tasks and priorities and goals that I set for myself, which I'm not really a goal planner, but I do have to set small goals to accomplish, because I will procrastinate and not get anything done. So so I started highlighting more stuff. I found that highlighting really helped. This is not something I think I've done in the past. I think I just would cross it out with just ink pen, but putting a visual to it helps a lot too. So if you're a visual person, highlighting things that you either are not going to do or haven't done or keep putting off or you're going to be moving does draw visual attention to that task for you to get it done. So I started highlighting things that I was constantly moving forward, or things that I needed to move forward, and things that I continuously put off. I started just highlighting it in a very bold red, so that way I could see, like, you put this off again, do it. do it, do it, do it. Like that was the thing that was going on through my head. Another thing is I changed my markers to start indicating certain things. No, I didn't have a specific marker code, like color code for any of it. I just kind of mentally knew, like, if it was in yellow, it was being done. If it was something that I was still working on, then I just used a different color, and then that indicated what that task was, and that I'm still working on it, but I need to move it to the following day. And yeah, I just used pen and highlighter and sticky notes, and this worked for me to not have all the stickers. I started getting more comfortable with not having all of the stickers because I realized that I was becoming reliant on needing to have, you know, like a new sticker book, and needing to have like a latest sticker, needing to put something down in order to use the system. And once I stopped having the mentality of you need to have something to use something, it all clicked to me, and I started using my planners very functionally, and I got more stuff done. I still like using stickers, and that probably will never change, but the way that I use them now is so much different than how I originally would just use my stickers. I'm much more intentional now with certain things. So yeah, when I want to have a little bit more pizzazz in my weekly spreads, then I do that. And, you know, when I don't, I use them differently. So I think I get the best of both worlds doing that. And yeah, so this is this is May. I'm doing the half sheets. I talked about it. It's just like a dashboard. My son started having all these crazy appointments, so now I'm writing in like reminders, like these are big reminders, big tasks now. And I did not use, so May, if you haven't followed my planning journey up until this point, I was using a bullet journal. I was using the Nanami Cafe notebooks, and the bulk of my planning from April until I want to say beginning of June is in that book. So I was not using the Plum Planner. I was using it, but I was using it very loosely. So this is where a lot of the blank starts to happen. So like I said, I didn't use May. I did like a couple daily pages in here. But at this point, I had transitioned to the bullet journaling system. I just found it a little bit more convenient for me. Although life was busy, it wasn't busy enough to the degree where I needed all of these things. And this kind of overwhelmed me a little bit, so I kind of just backed off. And that's one thing that I had to learn to do, is that when you feel overwhelmed by your system because you have a lot of stuff, you just need to back off, and you just need to think about what you need right now in that moment and pursue that, versus trying to make yourself use something that is definitely not going to work for you. So yeah, I took a back seat on this. June, I started out in my Plum Planner. Like, I set great intentions. I think I did a plan with me for this. Never did anything with this note section. This note page is like hit or miss. This was our vacation month, so I really wasn't trying to give myself too many tasks. There were still things that were going on, but I really just wanted to enjoy the month. I think I used the weekly portion over the daily portions of the June section much more, because it was easier to just dump everything in a weekly. And that's something that I learned about myself this year, is that I really like weekly planning over daily planning. I feel like daily planning, there's a commitment that you have to abide by. Like, I feel like if you skip days, then, especially for me, because I'm someone who has a hard time with skipping days and then trying to jump back into like a planner where I can't take out the days that I skipped. I just feel like it's just, you know, it's just too much commitment sometimes. And having a weekly, I feel like you can back plan a weekly fairly easy. I feel like the days are a little bit harder. So anyway, this is my June. This was the first week of June. Yeah, first week of June. And I started doing like a small water tracker. I realized that I wasn't drinking a lot of water, so I wanted to visually see, but I didn't stick to that. And then this week is basically when I broke down like things that we had going on. So like my husband was in softball practice, so he had games. My son also had appointments. I kept track of big things. I kept medical notes for my son. I had my meal plan here. I had reminders here. I had projects that I was working on. I took some notes. I had some errands, my usual trackers, and then some more appointments and to-dos for each of the days. Same thing, to-dos, appointments, things that we needed to buy, meals, projects, or whatever. And yeah, all of that was broken down in here. And then this is going towards the end. So I think this was the week before vacation. So it really wasn't a whole lot that needed to be done. At this point, the week had kind of, or the month had kind of slowed down because we were getting ready to go on vacation. So I don't think anybody was really looking forward to doing much of anything. So yeah, a lot of stuff slowed down. I did get some new Happy Planner like mini sheets, and so this was a projects and goal sheet. And I had some projects that I was working on, like I needed to get our guest room together, and so I was breaking down like the task and which I needed to do for the guest room. So all of that kind of got broken down in here, like things that we might have needed to do or buy or what have you. So that was that. And then I had deadlines and dates on there, and some of it I got done, some of it I just was like whatever. So yeah. And then this was vacation week, and I started using again the personal rings inserts, which I also have a video up on my channel. It's the most recent video, or a couple of recent videos on my channel. But this was the vacation week, so we really weren't here, and there was really no need to use this. I had plans to come back in and fill out like we had, so I can say it now because we're not there. We went to Kalahari. I know that it is not widely known by a lot of people, but to give you a perspective, if you are familiar with Cedar Point, I am originally from Ohio. So Cedar Point is like our go-to place, and it's a huge resort, and everybody from all over the world goes there. And so they also have Kalahari, which is America's largest indoor water park resort. It is an actual resort. And so it is like very huge, and there's a ton of stuff to do. So they have one in Texas, and Texas is fairly close to us. So we took a road trip to Texas, and we took our now 2-year-old on vacation. It was not only to celebrate his birthday, but it was also for us to have fun. My mother-in-law came down, and we all went, and we took the whole week to go. And so yeah, it was fun. We had lots of margaritas. My son got a birthday package, and yeah, there was a lot of activities going on for each of the days. And I had stuff booked for each of the days. Like we had dinner reservations, and we had a steakhouse reservation, and there was just memories that I wanted to capture in here. And maybe at some point I'll come back and fill all of this stuff out, but I really just kind of did away with it. The dailies, the weeklies, the monthlies, what is this? The dailies, gosh, the dailies. Didn't really touch this. Touched a little bit. I think I kind of gave up on it at the end of the month because we were going on vacation, and what are you going to do? How are you going to use this daily spread? I mean, I could have did some journaling in it, but I didn't really care for that. Another thing I learned also while using the Plum Planner was giving myself the okay to do stuff like this, like cross out stuff and just completely be messy, because I feel like the planner world has kind of molded and shaped us to not be okay with doing this. And like when we make mistakes, we use whiteout or use a sticker to cover it up. And I kind of want to push away from that and go back to what the planner community used to be, which is just using your regular ballpoint pens and regular like functional dot stickers and things like that, and just really planning, because sometimes I feel like planning isn't just planning anymore. But yeah, I gave myself permission to be okay with this, and I was fine. And I did, like I said, I continuously used it very functionally. I ditched my stickers, which allowed me to see the tasks that I needed to complete for each day, each week. Again, I got some more Happy Planner mini sheets, so I had a shopping list. I stuck it in here. I think there's two. Were there two? There was two, but yeah, I had a shopping list. I stuck it in here. Things I didn't do, I just crossed out. And yeah, this was the last couple of days leading up to our vacation, so I really wasn't planning anymore. As you can see, wasn't planning at all. Vacation. That's it. Yep, that's it. And then everything else I just kind of archived and stuck off to the back. Some of the rest of the things that I did use for each month, I kind of just tucked, like these are old half sheets that I completed for like the dashboard stuff, and then like the cleaning list and whatnot. I did use those kinds of things. I just kind of tucked them in the back here. There's another one tucked right there. But yeah, I just kind of tucked this stuff because I obviously don't need it anymore. But I just tucked it there because it was part of, you know, like that week in which I was using it. So yeah, you guys, that is the first, I'm not going to say, well, for easiness, I'm going to say that was the first 6 months of my planning. First 6 months. And I've got a new system going on here that I'm going to share very soon. But I wanted to give you a visual of how my first 6 months of this year basically ran once I made the necessary changes, how my home planner really, because this was my home planner, how that transpired into what it is today. And I just wanted to share that with you all. And yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed that little update in that area. And I will see you very soon, like probably right after this. I'm going to do another video, and that one's going to be on the new stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.